everyone. This is Dr. Live with New Insight, and thank you so much for joining me in another video. The title of today's video is 10 Tips for Parental Emotional Regulation. Children and teens don't learn emotional regulation from lectures. Instead, they learn it by watching parents and caregivers. In times of stress, conflict, or misbehavior, kids are paying close attention to how we respond, not just what we say. When parents and caregivers practice emotional regulation, they are modeling self-control, accountability, and healthy communication. This does not mean never getting angry or frustrated. Instead, it means showing children what to do with those emotions in a constructive way. Emotional regulation builds trust, safety, and long-term emotional skills that children and teens will carry into adulthood. So here are 10 tips for parental emotional regulation. Number 1, be mindful of your approach. Pay attention to your tone of voice, facial expressions, body language, and words. If you feel yourself becoming too heated, pause and de-escalate. You can be firm without exploding. If you're too angry, let your child or teen know you will revisit the issue later when you're calmer. This does not mean you're avoiding or dismissing the issue or excusing the behavior. Instead, it means taking the time to get yourself together as a parent or caregiver so that you don't discipline out of aggression or rage. For example, you can say, "This is unacceptable, and I'm really angry right now, but we will address this later." Always stay in control of your emotions. Parental emotional regulation is essential, especially before disciplining. When parents discipline while angry, responses are more likely to be reactive, excessive, or inconsistent. Discipline driven by anger teaches children and teens fear, not understanding, and often escalates the situation rather than resolving it. Taking time to calm down allows you to respond thoughtfully instead of reacting emotionally and impulsively. And this may mean stepping away, taking a few deep breaths, or postponing the conversation until you can speak calmly and clearly. Understand that walking away to regulate is healthy. Walking away in anger without communication can feel like abandonment or confusing to a child or teenager. Effective emotional regulation models self-awareness, accountability, and healthy coping skills. When children see parents pause instead of explode, they learn that emotions don't have to control behavior and that discipline is about guidance and growth, not punishment fueled by anger. Number 2, talk to them, not at them. Talking at children and teens often looks like lecturing, interrogating, or delivering long speeches where their voice isn't included. This approach can make them feel dismissed, powerless, or defensive, which usually shuts down communication. Instead, talking to them means approaching the conversation as a dialogue rather than a monologue. It also shows respect, invites collaboration, and increases the likelihood that they'll actually hear and reflect on what you're saying. When children and teens feel talked with instead of talked down to, they're more open to accountability and problem solving. For example, instead of saying, "Why would you do something so stupid? You never think about consequences, and I've told you a million times." Instead, say, "Help me understand how you were thinking about this. What were you hoping or expecting to happen? And what do you think went wrong? How would you do this differently next time?" This approach communicates curiosity and willingness to understand rather than criticism and judgment. It also keeps emotions regulated on both sides and helps turn conflict into a learning opportunity rather than a power struggle. Number 3, explain but don't lecture. Kids stop listening when they feel talked down to. Keep your explanations clear, respectful, and to the point. Lecturing is exhausting for both the parent and child and does not give the child time to actively listen, process, and understand what is being said. Number 4, invite questions and emotional expression. Let them know it's safe to ask questions and share their thoughts and feelings in a respectful manner, even when they feel uncomfortable, difficult, or confusing. Number 5, even if you don't understand, still listen. You don't have to relate or agree. To listen with openness and curiosity. Number 6, acknowledge and validate their experiences. Validation does not mean approval. It means recognizing their right to have thoughts and feelings and also acknowledging their experience. For example, you can say, "That sounds really tough. Having 3 exams in one day? I had a teacher like that once. I can relate to that, but how can I help you make a better decision next time?" Number 8, don't take misbehavior personally. Testing boundaries, entitlement, impulsivity, and defiance are all a part of normal childhood development. It does not make the behaviors acceptable or right, and these behaviors will certainly look differently for different children in terms of type, frequency, and severity. But do understand that even good parenting may or may not eliminate these behaviors. However, as parents and caregivers, we can teach children right from wrong, what is acceptable and unacceptable, how to regulate their emotions, and how to make wise decisions. Number 9, listen without interrupting or attacking. Avoid yelling, sarcasm, criticism, name calling, or over talking. Invite your child or teenager to explain how they processed the situation and what led to their decisions. Show genuine interest and understanding, even if you think their choice was irrational. Never get into a power struggle and never get on their level by demonstrating inappropriate behaviors. And number 10, turn the moment into a teachable moment. Help them understand why the behavior was wrong or disrespectful. Ask reflective questions instead of forcing your perspective. For example, ask them, "Do you see anything wrong with the decision you made?" Let them explain, and then you follow up with questions to understand their thinking and feelings. So understand that emotional regulation is one of the greatest gifts parents and caregivers can give to their children and teenagers. It teaches them how to handle conflict, make thoughtful decisions, and communicate effectively. And these are all skills that they will need far beyond childhood. You don't have to be perfect. There is no such thing as a perfect parent. What matters is showing your children that emotions can be felt, managed, and expressed in healthy ways. When parents regulate first, children learn that stressful emotions can be properly managed and that this can lead to growth. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in another video.